Building a smart, efficient, and eco-friendly Jamaica will require innovation, partnership, and consistent work. It's why the government is committed to our digital transformation, which will drive economic growth and provide the resources needed for social stability. It's another Wednesday edition of Jamaica Magazine, and I am so excited to have your company. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. Join me as I take you through some key sectors that are undergoing major improvements right after this quick break. Stay with us.
Last year, 488 Jamaicans died in road crashes. We don't want a repeat of that carnage in 2023. The new Road Traffic Act is about ensuring you arrive alive. Do your part. Obey all traffic signals. Wear your seatbelt and helmets. Let's make our roads safe for everyone. Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, November 22, 2023. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, says the country's economy grew by 1.9% for the July to September quarter of this year. Director General Dr. Wayne Henry gave the update at the PIOJ's quarterly meeting yesterday. He says the outturn for the period reflects higher levels of employment, increased capacity utilization in the mining and quarrying industry, and continued growth in tourism. The goods-producing industry grew by an estimated 2.3% due to improved performances in manufacturing, mining, and quarrying.
Alumina production increased by 136.6% due to an expansion in the alumina capacity utilization rate to 42.4%, up 24.5 percentage points. This was driven by increased capacity utilization at the Windalco and Jamalco refineries, as operations gradually returned to normalcy following technical issues that constrained production at Windalco, as well as Jamalco's ramping up of capacity since its reopening at limited capacity in the corresponding period of 2022.
Dr. Henry, however, points out that there was a 9% contraction in the agriculture, forestry, and fishing sector caused by the adverse impact of drought conditions.
Below normal levels of rainfall throughout the quarter resulted in lower yields and a reduction in hectares reaped. The industry's performance was reflected in declines recorded for other agricultural crops, which contracted by 11.8%. Lower production was recorded for 8 of the 9 crop groups.
On a more positive note, animal farming increased by 1.4% and egg production by 11.8%. A preliminary figure of $409 million has been estimated for damage to the country's infrastructure from the impact of Tropical Cyclone 22 on the weekend. Prime Minister Andrew Holness gave the update in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. He says the figure was provided by the National Works Agency, NWA, which has reported 69 roadways being badly impacted by landslides, mud flow, and fallen trees.
We have had damage estimates before which have been far more significant than this, so we are very grateful that though there was damage, it was not of a very significant extent.
Mr. Holness says the 3 days of rainfall could be classified as a test of our infrastructure, with recently built highways and roadways withstanding the weather. However, following a helicopter tour of affected areas, the Prime Minister indicates that having assessed the rivers in St. Thomas, the need is evident for a massive river training in the parish.
The rivers there are not well defined in terms of their boundaries, their embankments. And so if there is a heavy shower of rain and significant volume of water, they tend to overrun and spill over on the plains, which is, in a sense, what makes those lands fertile and arable. But when we are building alongside rivers and we are building in the river parts and we are building in floodplains, then, Madam Speaker, we will have to make the investments in ensuring that we control the flow of the rivers.
He says $700 million has been identified to undertake the river training program in the next financial year. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced a $1.4 billion constituency-based mitigation and cleaning program. This will see $22 million being assigned to each constituency. The money is to do minor civil and sanitation works.
The program will implement targeted interventions with the following key priority rankings: the reopening of blocked roads, cleaning of critical drains, which have now been heavily silted, patching of main thoroughfares, which have been scarred, construction of new structures such as retaining walls, river training, small river training if you can do that.
Giving a breakdown of the $22 million spent per constituency, Mr. Holness says $10 million will go towards road rehabilitation, $6 million to debushing activities, and $3 million each for drain cleaning and garbage collection. The program is being managed by the National Works Agency and the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA.
All agency fees will be covered by the project funds, ensuring that no fees are deducted from the constituency allocation. I have directed the NWA to collaborate with all relevant entities, including municipal corporations, to conclude detailed designs and final estimates for any substantial repairs, particularly to roads that may come as a result of this project. I anticipate that work will begin as early as possible and continue into the festive season.
Members of Parliament are also receiving funds to offer support in the form of minor repairs to houses that were affected by the recent rainfall. Approximately 100 persons within each constituency are set to benefit from a $330 million housing assistance program. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Cabinet has already approved the allocation of $5 million to each constituency.
The idea behind this is to target those households that are vulnerable to weather, particularly leaking roofs or compromised wooden structures, to assist with the replacement of zinc sheets that are compromised, windows or ply sidings that have been compromised.
In addition, the Prime Minister says 3 constituencies that were severely impacted by Tropical Cyclone 22 will be allocated an additional $3 million. These are East Rural St. Andrew and East and West St. Thomas. The Ministry of Housing will carry out the program. And finally, the government has announced a temporary reduction in fares on the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC buses. The process will be done in 2 phases in 2024. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark made the announcement in the House of Representatives Tuesday.
Effective January 1st, 2024, the reduction in the regular fare from $100 to $70, and a reduction in the fare for children from $30 to $25, and for pensioners from $40 to $30. Effective April 1st of 2024, a further reduction in the regular fare from $70 to $50, and in the fare for children from $25 to $20, and the fare for pensioners, it would go down from $30 to $25.
Dr. Clark says the fare reduction comes as the government is mindful of the impact of the 16% increase granted to private operators of public passenger vehicles on the cost of living. According to the Finance Minister, this will support the Bank of Jamaica in its efforts to return and keep inflation within the 4 to 6% range. The central government will provide the JUTC with resources to finance the temporary reductions in its revenue from bus fares. The temporary reduction is projected to last up to 24 months or 2 years. After this, the fares will be adjusted upwards and returned to existing levels.
It is expected that for the period January to March of this fiscal year, this measure will cost approximately $200 million. And for the full year, April 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2025, the cost would be $800 million.
Hand in hand with this measure, the JUTC's capacity is expected to increase by 300 new buses over the next 3 years. The first 100 are to arrive in the island during the next fiscal year. In addition, the Ministries of Finance and Transport are working together to advance the Boosting the Capacity of State-Owned Bus Enterprises project. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
Are you passionate about shaping the future of governance in Jamaica? Do you want to be part of a historic move to define the roles, responsibilities, and standards of conduct for our parliamentarians? The Joint Select Committee of Parliament, considering job descriptions, codes of conduct, and performance standards for parliamentarians, is having a series of town hall meetings to get your insights on the roles, conduct, and expectations of your elected representatives. Join the virtual town hall on the Zoom platform on November 30, 2023 at 6 p.m. You will have the opportunity to share your opinions, engage with members of the committee, and make your voice heard. Visit www.japarliament.gov.jm for further details. Let's work together to build a stronger Jamaica.
Vital to our sustainable development is an important group of stakeholders, small and medium-sized entrepreneurs. Their contribution to Jamaica's development is dependent on them seizing opportunities to export their products and services. Learn more about how the government is facilitating this effort.
Micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, have a key role in Jamaica's sustainable economic development and growth. By their sheer numbers and mean income from exports, these entities could substantially cut or eliminate the country's trade deficit and significantly boost GDP. The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce is on a mission to get more MSMEs to export and earn bigger profits from larger markets as it seeks to unleash the significant wealth creation potential of this sector. Through its MSME Roadshow initiative, the ministry is taking its services to these businesses to get them ready, set, and into the export market. The Roadshow is being initiated in partnership with the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB.
IDB is really happy to partner with the ministry on this initiative, for we are committed to promoting and providing support to private sector growth in Jamaica.
Through 4 initial roadshow stagings, with the first held in Mandeville, MSME operators have been getting information on business development support, government incentives, and export opportunities. The events are also providing a space to create new linkages, networking, and business partnerships with a large gathering of public and private entities.
Every single entrepreneur must understand that we must export. I'm encouraging you to make things that Jamaican people will eat and buy, but you must lift your mind to a place where you're exporting.
Though small, the multipliable effect of their employment and income generation is huge. The MSME sector in Jamaica numbers over 400,000 entities. These account for 34% of the employed labor force, and it's estimated that tax-paying MSMEs account for 97% of all classified and registered enterprises in Jamaica.
The MSME sector is a vital driving force that is propelling the creation of jobs and growth in Jamaica's economy. It is vital. All these small businesses, some of them hire 3 people, some hire 10, some can hire 25, some will hire 12. Every single job is vital, important to this country.
And I like to say simply, if every MSME, through additional work and support, employs 1 person or 1 more person, we are talking about growing the employed labor force in Jamaica by over 400,000 people. If we got 25% of all MSMEs to export $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year. If my calculation is correct, we would be talking about $1 billion of export.
Operating commercially and in the global space requires formalization and adherence to standards which the ministry is offering businesses. And so the road shows include a business pitch competition, business forum, an expo, and presentations to provide information on services being offered to the MSME sector. Also, for greater efficiency and ease of trade, the ministry is supporting digitization of businesses and their access to affordable financing.
Together with our esteemed partners from the Inter-American Development Bank, we embark on a journey to empower our MSMEs. The Business Roadshow serves as a platform for knowledge exchange, networking, and inspiration, fostering an environment where these businesses can not only survive, but they will thrive. We need to inspire each other. We need to hear from each other. What are you doing? Are you making BAMIs bigger size, smaller size? Are you making stuff in sources that you're looking to export?
Growing the country's per capita income in line with that of rich nations by producing and selling more goods and services to the point of sustained trade surplus is reason enough every Jamaican in business needs to get into the act of exporting where possible.
Now suppose we get 50%. If we get 50%, that cuts off about half of the negative trade balance that we had in 2021.
For the benefit of tipping the trade scale in Jamaica's favor, the government is assuring small businesses of all the help they need to grow. MSMEs are encouraged to use the benefits provided by the ministry, including productive inputs relief and import duty and income tax relief for the importation of equipment or raw materials.
We are committed to strengthening these engines of innovation and chart a course toward shared prosperity.
Realizing our potential to become a rich nation means selling not only to 3 million Jamaicans at home, but also to consumers around the world. Are you ready?
On the road, the public transport system is being mobilized for efficiency and environmentally friendly solutions to commuting. Discover more about the pilot electric bus program by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, in this next feature.
It's the first electric bus or e-bus in the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC's fleet. The electric bus pilot program was rolled out on April 18, 2023 to test its performance on Jamaican roadways and determine the use of electric buses in the future of public transportation. We visited the JUTC's Spanish Town depot to learn more about the electric bus and experience the ride. The use of electric buses form part of the government's push to incorporate environmentally friendly technology in the public transportation system.
The government is moving very quickly to integrate new technologies into the operation of the JUTC's fleet because it gives us two critical advantages. One, the environmental and climate change advantages, which we have commitments for, but it improves the bottom line of the JUTC.
Electric buses are known for zero to low emission of toxic carbon gases. This advantage supports Jamaica's pledge to the United Nations climate change goal to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. Managing Director of the JUTC, Paul Abrams, says the pilot program will be used to determine the way forward on reducing JUTC's carbon footprint.
We are hoping that should the pilot be successful and we are able to measure the emissions, that it's successful and it's beneficial, then yes, I think that the pilot will definitely show us a way forward.
Mr. Abrams says the testing of e-buses is also a good sign for the future of electric vehicles generally in Jamaica.
Electric mobility is something that is worldwide, and we feel that time has come for it to be introduced to Jamaica. JUTC is basically a platform where a lot of mobility, CNG, biodiesel, etc., are all tested. So we really are the platform for a wider expansion for Jamaica. So we are excited to see what the capabilities of EV can do in Jamaica. We in our own operations analyze daily, and based on what comes out of a pilot will determine how we will be able to move forward based on the terrain that the buses operate on, the overloading, etc. And that's what the pilot is all about, to determine how do we move forward in the feasibility of introducing more EV mobility to Jamaica and to the JUTC.
The e-bus being used for the test is disabled friendly and includes a wheelchair access feature. Feedback so far suggests that commuters are very excited about riding on the electric bus.
They're very curious about it because, you know, you're accustomed to hearing an engine running and you're accustomed to hearing noises all over, and this is just as silent as your grandmother's sewing machine. So it's very interesting for them, and the feedback has been excellent so far. They keep asking, when are we getting more?
The question of when more e-buses are coming is easily answered. What will happen long term will only be determined after the pilot testing phase is completed.
Originally, the pilot is for 6 months, but as you are aware, we have additional buses coming, 5 EV buses and some 45 diesel buses. We are thinking that it is important that we expand the pilot program to 9 months. In that way, we can gather as much information as possible to determine the way forward.
We explored some of the e-buses' amazing features. The Spanish Town depot is also equipped with a charging station to recharge the unit. 3 more charging stations will be installed with the next set of electric buses to be incorporated in the pilot testing. Meanwhile, Quality Assurance Specialist at the JUTC, Barrington Brown, explains some of the technical features of the electric bus.
The unit takes 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours to charge at 80%. So the bus will not go below 20%. That's a minimum. The unit can run on 100% full charge for 225 kilometers, and that's equivalent to 10 hours. For my studies, EV compared to diesel, it's very easy to maintain. Most of our diesel buses have lubrication leaks. Our EV doesn't have lubrication. So we don't have any seals to change and all of that.
During the e-bus pilot program, the dealer will provide technical support for maintenance, while JUTC mechanics will understudy.
It has been performing wonderful because feedback from the driver, passengers love it, and it's maintenance, almost maintenance free.
The government is committed to driving the quest to preserve Jamaica's environment and people through cleaner technology. The electric bus pilot program is one of several stops on the road to modernizing Jamaica's public transportation sector.
Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding. Mosquitoes will breed in any container that holds water.
Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, barrels, buckets and tanks. If this cannot be done, pour cooking oil on the water surface. Punch holes in all tins, plastics and beverage boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover all tires or fill with dirt to prevent water collection. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs. Use mosquito repellents to protect yourself from mosquito bites. Dispose of garbage properly by placing in plastic bags and securing properly to prevent water collection.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
From transport to agriculture, implementing more climate-smart initiatives is an integral part of Jamaica's smart economy principles. Let's learn more about the value of adopting climate-smart agricultural techniques.
After a trip to get the freshest vegetables, I set aside time on another day to witness examples of Jamaicans employing climate-smart agricultural practices that should boost farm productivity and efficiency while lowering environmental impact. Here's what I've learned. 22-year-old Javian Bassier, who finished third in a competition for agricultural smart technology, has developed smart irrigation technology that he uses on his own farm in Clarendon.
I've made an irrigation system that is fully automated and you can stay at home on your Android phone and operate it. So it chip in the water because you have sensor in the field, so it will chip in and chip out water when it's needed. A system like this will get 15% more yield, less in labor costs. A system like this now is a very good system to have because it labor costs, so you don't spend as much money for labor, and then your plant get adequate water when needed and when not needed to turn off.
At the College of Agriculture, Science and Education case, they are pairing aquaculture and hydroponics to get double the bang for the buck.
We are demonstrating the aquaponics system. Aquaponics itself is an integration of hydroponics and aquaculture. Now, just to tell you how it works. Now, the fish will get food. When the fish get the food, they produce waste. This waste is usually rich in nitrogen, and therefore this is going to be converted by bacteria, and the plants will use this as food. So what we do is that we're getting two sources of food while we're only offering food to one.
Agriculture uses about 70% of the world's supply of fresh water, and aquaponics help to reduce that, while also allowing for growing foods on less land acreage.
Based on modern day technology, we are basically introducing smart agriculture practice. And this is a way in which we can conserve, especially on water. In an aquaponic system, we are using 90% less water to grow a crop than we would use in regular outfield. And we are also harvesting crop much earlier. In addition, we increase the stocking density over the different areas. So we basically are getting better yield, faster time, and we're using less water, so it's more efficient. We just want you to understand that there are three organisms that work in order to get the miracle of this system. The fish, the bacteria that are going to convert in the waste from the fish, and the plant, which is the vegetable, which is going to produce food for us. So it is a system that you can adopt for urban area or for commercial system, and it works just magical for all operators.
Can we get any more creative than this? Yes, we can. Youth farmer and student Denicia Garden demonstrates how anyone can use vermin composting to be environmentally responsible.
So this is something simple. You can start this by using simple things, everyday materials that you have within your backyard or within your household. So you can just use your regular waste. We're showcasing the vermicomposting, and that is done with the use of the California red worms. So these are earthworms that we use to break down organic waste into nutrient-rich solutions. For our vermicomposting that we have here, you'll see that we just use feces from our farm, from our small ruminants farm, and we use waste grass. So that's all we use. So this is something that we're supposed to think about doing because it is environmentally sustainable and eco-friendly. So it doesn't affect the environment in a negative way, and it decreases the greenhouse gas emissions within the air. So it is very eco-friendly.
Climate-smart agricultural practices boost farmers' livelihoods and open new economic avenues for them and the country. Being inventive and applying these practices not only enhance climate resilience and reduce pollution and other environmental hazards, but also increase productivity.
We would love to hear from you, so reach out via email at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. You can also find more content like this on our website at jis.gov.jm. Join us tomorrow for another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.